For guests and visitors, my name is Steve Perley, Club President. I'd like to welcome you all to the 33rd meeting, the 48th year of the Dublin Worthington Rotary Club. Today's invocation and pledge of allegiance. Pete Barnhart here. Will be delivered by somebody who's going to raise their hand and volunteer. Oh, Tom Rice, all right.
Our heads. Dear God, thank you for this great day. Thank you for these young kids being here today to express their thoughts on topics which are important to them. Bless this food for which we're about to eat. In your name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. To the republic of God, indivisible.
Thank you very much, Tom. Teresa, would you introduce any visiting Rotarians or guests?
I think they're going to be introduced later.
We'll do that.
Sam. Sam is a prospective member. Did I hear?
I'm the parent, but yes.
Excellent.
And I think the rest of the guests will be. Oh, when we have a very important guest. David Newbury and Dave Dewey.
Woohoo. One clap welcome. Good. Okay, then, we're gonna switch things up a little bit today and move our announcements and our sergeant to the end so that we can get our program underway. So I'd like to bring up Greg Giesler to get us kicked off.
Ladies and gentlemen of Rotary, I would like to introduce Heather Sorensen of Dublin Scioto High School, whose students are going to participate in the Rotary four-way test speech contest today, and has been participating, I think, for almost 20 years now, which is amazing to me. So, Heather.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us today. We really enjoy the opportunity to come and share some things that are dear to these students' hearts. We're going to have three girls today who are going to be speaking about some really cool topics. We'll have Yana Ken. She's going to talk about cultural awareness. Hira Sohail is going to talk about prejudice, and Chloe DiFiesta is going to talk about academic stress. So these are all things that they deal with in their own lives. Just to give you a little bit of an idea about what this speech means to all of my students who do it in my AP language class, gives them the opportunity to talk about their passions, to explore what they think should be done in the world, to evaluate their own beliefs and that kind of thing, which of course is the intention of the questions that you have in your four-way speech test. So I see every year personal conquest. Kids who are shy coming up and blossoming and being able to stand in front of a group of strangers and memorize the speech and give it and really come into their own. So we appreciate this very much, and thanks for the opportunity.
Hello, everyone. I'm Yana.
You can take it out if you want.
Up to you. What is that? Ew, what's that smell? Is that sushi? What? These were the typical responses I received when my mom would have me kimbap for lunch. Growing up as a Korean American young elementary school student, I would hide my lunch out of embarrassment before my table member groups would see it. I learned early on that preconceived notions are simply formed based on one's cultural differences. Why? In our country, where we have all different types of different racial groups, comes with different customs, traditions, and overall lifestyles. When we apply the Rotary four-way test, we can see how this applies to us and our different cultures. To begin with, the truth. It's true. We look everywhere we go, we see all different types of racial ethnic groups. It is true that no matter where we go, we experience all different types of reactions based on what we look like. Growing up in a predominantly Caucasian small town in Pennsylvania, I've experienced all sorts of racism with racial slurs, discrimination, and even being misnamed by my very own middle school teacher, who called me a Chinese girl's name whom I wasn't even in the same class with. It finally took her a whole semester to get her to call me Kim, which isn't even my first name. Come on, it's the 21st century. Isn't it predominantly obvious that we should be true that there's cultural problems still going on in our country? Next, is it fair? Is it fair that one has to go through struggles and hardships just because their culture is being negatively perceived by others? Is it fair that we are socially judged based on one another for who we are? It's hard to embrace who we are. Multiple studies of research have shown that self-esteem tends to correlate with culture. We can't express who we are because of lack of confidence. According to Harvard Graduate School of Education, thoughtful compassion and inappropriateness is not easy to balance out. However, it's good to pay attention to close context clues. When we are paying attention to other people, we can avoid numerous problems such as miscommunication and misinterpretation of others. Therefore, it is truly fair that we are all treated the same. Next, how does this affect our goodwill and build better friendships? Well, going back to the small town I grew up in, I tend to find myself surrounded by those who are well educated or open-minded. I am aware that they weren't familiar with different cultures. However, just the willingness to appreciate me and to accept me who I was, no matter how different I looked from them, was well appreciated. When we build goodwill and friendships, we are able to understand one another more easily and therefore connect well. Therefore, we can make better friendships and goodwill. Now, finally, how is this beneficial to each and every one of us? Well, if we are cultural aware, we can once again avoid stereotypes, generalizations, and assumptions, and hear things directly from the person themselves. This is good because no matter who we are, we collaborate with all different types of people each and every day of our lives. For example, as a student, no matter what project we're doing, we're always collaborating with other people. Not only will this help us in school, but in college and even our workplace. This will help us to globalize and reduce barriers. This will truly help us to work anywhere, no matter where we are and with anyone. Therefore, this can be beneficial in so many different ways. Now, after applying the Rotary 4-week test, we have now seen its truth, its fairness, how it builds goodwill and friendships, and how it's beneficial to us. I moved to Columbus around 2 years ago, and I'm surrounded by so many diverse people. Columbus is one of the most diverse communities in the United States, and I really feel that strong impact. From coming from a predominantly white small town, I've realized how big of an impact it is when we accept who we are, when we appreciate one another, regardless of what we look like, and regardless what our culture may be. Just recently, my mom did pack a kimbap for lunch, and to my surprise, the girl randomly asked, "Hey, can I try one?" And I let her try one, and she was like, "Wow, this is amazing. I love how all the different flavors come together into one bite." Just like that, I strongly believe our human relationships should be like kimbap. Kimbap is a Korean dish that consists of all different types of vegetables and meats. Just like that, we should come together as a whole, regardless of what we may look like, and our cultures should come together into one, right? Thank you.
Hi, my name is Yara Sohail. I sat in the middle of the living room as the darkness surrounded me. It was approximately 12:32 a.m. as I sat in the screechy Goodwill chair, the chalk price tag reading 99 cents. I have been at this practice assessment since I got home from school. The books and pamphlets about the US government nearly tumbled like a landslide. What caused the Civil War? What is bicameralism? No, this isn't for my AP US government class. I'm 10 at the time. This is for my mom's US naturalization test. I started being a child language broker as soon as I moved to the United States in 2010. I knew how to file taxes, apply for a loan, and paid my dad's bills by the time I was 11. This is the truth of most children in immigrant families. While I had to be an adult, other children's biggest worry was if their mom packed them a note in their lunchbox. It only got worse as I grew up. Unrealistic movies about the horrors of high school infested my parents' thoughts. Homecoming, prom, these were all forbidden topics of conversation in the Sohail household. FOMO grasped a hold of me. You want to know the worst part? Well, FOMO is definitely not the worst part. The worst part is realizing the underlying inferiority you feel amongst others, realizing the painful privilege others seem so unaware that they obtain. Is this an attainable way for a family to live? To answer that, I turned to the Rotary 4-way test by asking myself, is this the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? Are these feelings of inferiority true? Well, that depends on who you ask. If you ask a newly immigrated person, one who has traveled to a foreign country with nothing but an aspiration of hope, they might answer to your surprise, yes. In that second, they admit to being less than others. In that second, they satisfy the superior. They believe, as I once did, that they are insects at the bottom of the food chain. They have been so trained to obey what the superiors say as soon as they cross the border. The irony is, if you ask someone who many may consider an activist, if you ask them the same question, am I inferior? They'll, without hesitation, reply yes. They'll reply that you are equal to others and that you aren't inferior. But when they are in an airplane next to a woman in an abaya and a hijab like my mom, they will again, without hesitation, grasp their purse, look away, and hope that the terrorist next to them doesn't make any sudden moves. Is this true? Is this an attainable way to live? In my life and in my mom's life, this has been the truth. Is it fair to all concerned? Prejudice or favoritism reign in today's society. Police brutality is an unfortunately clear example of that. The prejudice that was so obviously clouded on the minds of these officers that brutally murdered human beings. George Floyd, Daunt White, Manuela Ellis, Breonna Taylor, and the list painfully goes on and on. Humans that were mothers, fathers, children were killed in just a couple minutes. The prejudice and stereotypes that are based solely on one's skin color and origin are like an epidemic trying to gain control of those that aren't truly free from racism and are truly fair. My parents moved to the United States without even being able to pronounce the word English. They came with non-existent degrees, but an abundance of hope. Hope that their kids will get the equal education that James Adams promised. James Adams stated that America will ensure men and women will be treated equally without regards to their race and their origin. This promise strongly failed them. It is not fair that while my parents left behind a beloved country and dignity and respect, they were deceived. The kids in them were entering a battle, one with children of wealthy parents and generations of expensive degrees would surely win. Storm clouds of intolerance would certainly blow. So familiar to, you're stealing all of our jobs, because certainly that was the only plan my parents had moving here. Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Growing up in the American school system, the typical high school events varied greatly from those my parents grew up in. I often heard a lot of no. This did not build goodwill and better friendships. I found my friends falling out of my reach, constantly disappointed at my inability to go well anywhere. Soon, 7:55 to 2:42 became my only visiting hours. Not only this, but it is difficult to form a relationship with someone so often perceived as dangerous and untrustworthy. Muslims have had to face this prejudice since the tragic attacks on 9/11. According to a 2005 survey, 1/4 of Americans held anti-Muslim attitudes and believed negative stereotypes about Muslims. How can we be expected to be confident and believe we are equal to others when so many of us think of us as a threat and as a danger? Is it beneficial for all concerned? The fear of missing out and the need to belong has often been connected to mental illnesses in teenagers. This has proven to rise in alarming levels in immigrant children. It is difficult to emotionally support their parents in an unforgiving US system that leaves them without a federally mandated living wage, accessible healthcare, and affordable housing. Because of the heavy expectations and overwhelming guilt that are stacked upon an immigrant's shoulder, many children feel the need to walk through this alone with their head high. While they smile and laugh with joy, they can be heard sniffling in forsaken times, isolating themselves with only their thoughts. Being an immigrant does certainly come with its perks, from the food to the clothes. It can truly be such a colorful environment. However, leaving the shell that you call your home, your country, one where days can be spent with family and friends, has a significant toll on one's mental health. It leads to feelings of true inferiority, fear of missing out, and transforms a hopeful family into victims of the war of prejudice and discrimination. Being a helpless immigrant in the United States of America is the truth. It is not fair to all concerned, does not build goodwill and better friendships, and it certainly isn't beneficial to all involved. Thank you.
Good afternoon, my name is Chloe Baker. Most of us are doing their best to go to college. Most of us are taking several AP classes, volunteering, extracurriculars, work, attending club meetings, and studying for the SAT and ACT, all to look the best in our college applications. Among our peers, are probably the responsible ones, dare I say, the student ones, sadly, the ones most affected by stress. Using the Rotary format test, I will be analyzing the issues of academic stress, pressure, and its effect by peers. Is it true that students taking accelerated courses are struggling? To answer this question, I took a survey of all of my classmates taking honors, AP, IB courses. A reported 66% of surveyed individuals had 2 hours or less free time on a normal school day. 95% admitted that they felt the pressure to be independent and self-reliant. 76% don't even achieve a full 8 hours of sleep on average, with most of the reason being that responsibilities such as chores, work, extracurriculars for most of their time. 76% admitted that they felt the fear of being incompetent most of their peers. These statistics prove that a majority of students feel the academic pressure, and yes, it is true that these students are struggling. Is academic pressure fair to my peers? Well, first, let me ask you this. Is sleep deprivation ever fair? For growing adolescent bodies, 8 to 10 hours of sleep is recommended, but a reported 3 out of 4 students had less than the required sleep. And it is even sadder that the majority of the reason behind this is their effort towards looking the best of their college applications. That said, these students are at risk for having experienced frequent headaches, an unhealthy diet, greater risk of having diabetes and other chronic health issues, slower reaction time, poor decision making, and problem solving. And that is why it is not fair to others. Will it build goodwill and/or better friendships? To answer this question, we will analyze the effects of academic stress and pressure on peer relationships. Interestingly enough, this is actually classified as positive peer pressure. When people hear the words peer pressure, they instantly assume that the topic was to push drugs, alcohol, and bad influence. However, positive peer pressure is like when someone feels the pressure to get good grades or a society of high expectations. Similar to how our social structures are like in Dublin High School. But the good can carry the negative side. In an article about peer pressure, the author states that if, for instance, you feel the pressure to always earn positive and good grades, then you might be suffering from positive peer pressure. In terms of building goodwill and better friendships, how can someone have positive and comfortable relationships with their peers when their fear and insecurity of incompetence is always there? Yes, it's true that some of my classmates may be joyous about going out with their friends this weekend. However, that fear of doing bad and failing a test that everyone else got A's in will always be there. So no, this does not lead to goodwill and better friendship. Is it beneficial to all concerned? Well, picture this. So much pressure to succeed, so much fear of failure, so much work to become successful, but is it all even worth it? Did you know that Rihanna didn't even finish high school? It's hard to believe that someone with an estimated fortune of over $600 million didn't even complete a high school education. From that, we can learn that people shouldn't struggle in high school, and there are many ways to earn future success. That being said, you should not take your studies as a joke either, but it is important to keep a balance and to take care of your health. After further analysis, we can now conclude that academic stress and pressure is in fact true, not fair to my peers, does not build goodwill and better friendships, and lastly, is not beneficial to all concerned. So, what was the point of all this? Well, the point was, I implore my peers to know that it is their right to prioritize their health over the responsibilities. I want my peers to know that it is more than okay to not receive the same grade as everyone else on a test, whether that be like straight A's. And lastly, I want everyone to know that we should not overexert our energy over future aspirations because my peers and I, we are all still kids of so much to learn, and there are so many ways to earn future success. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. Steve is gonna do the raffle and whatever else we need to do.
Announcements and sergeants.
And we're gonna take a short break and reconvene.
Before that, let's thank the kids again. That was great. All right, now announcements. If anybody has announcements, please come on up. Don't be bashful. Come on.
We just finished up the scholarship award for the Dublin schools, and there were 3 very capable awardees. And I want to thank those Rotarians who helped in the selections, and Jim Farmer, John Bader, Dave Henson, Emily Biondo, and Dominique Simonin, Dick Olilla, and Court Chapman. Now we're working on the scholarship, the joint scholarship of the 2 Worthington Rotary clubs for full scholarship to Columbus State. And we need volunteers to help score, and we also need volunteers to interview. We need at least 5 volunteers, and I hope to get at least that many today to help score. And it takes about 10 minutes for each student. We have 8 very capable students, and so it shouldn't take more than an hour and a half The catch is that we need to get it done by Monday, back to me. So,
No rush.
no rush. It only takes an hour and a half, and we got 5 days to get it done, so. Just let me know, like, if you want to volunteer, and if you don't, I'll call you. Thank you very much. The interviews would be as soon as we, what I want to say, the scoring is to identify the finalists. And so as soon as we identify the finalists, if we can identify the finalists by the end of next week, then the first week of May will be the interviews.
Thank you, Donna.
Thank you.
Step right up.
All righty. Good afternoon, everybody. Great to see you all.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Charlie. How are you? Next week, we have trees. So these trees are going to be donated to several elementary schools in our district. So if all of you could show up and help us package the instructions for these trees. I don't know that they're going to fit in the bags like we put in before because they're so heavy. These are quite a bit heavier than what we've given away in the past. But anyways, these are pinyon pine. These are native to Arizona, very drought tolerant, starting to get introduced into Ohio climate, and they acclimate very well. These are good plants. So hopefully the students will get a nice tree to plant in their yard. And be something they can remember for Arbor Day. Secondly, we have our Donald G. Moulton Memorial Golf Outing, a Rotary Club outing scheduled May 26th. And that's going to be at Glen Ross like we've always had in the past. More details to follow, but any of you that can make it out and play in our outing, raise your hand. I'll sign your name off on the sheet or get with me in the next few weeks. I'll have a sign up sheet for that. It's our 32nd year for the golf outing. So hopefully we'll get a big group to sign up for that. Thank you.
Is that a Friday?
That is a Friday.
All right.
Friday is the beginning of the Memorial Day weekend, so it's a good day for the Memorial term. Woohoo! How about that?
Right, Tim.
Thanks, Mike. I'm here to talk about Mongolia again for less than 5 minutes, I promise. So, as things accelerate, and we get ready for RI President-elect Gordon McAnally to go to Mongolia in November, and the NGSE folks from Mongolia to come here in September. I'm delighted to tell you guys that this is our Twin Club's 10th anniversary coming up. And so Steve and I are going to send a little message. Also, we're trying to send some greetings and a little gift. So anybody on the International Service Committee, if you would take a look at your email in the next, well, ideally this afternoon, that would be really helpful because we have a motion on the floor. And I would ask the favor of everybody following me, and I'm gonna teach you the 3 words to say happy anniversary in Mongolian. And then we're gonna say it to everybody together, okay?
Okay.
On the count of 3 when I do that. And it's Oin Bayarin Mendhurge. Okay, well, we can distort it, you guys, and I'm gonna shout over everybody on the microphone. But let me say it one more time. Oin Bayarin Mendhurge. You guys want to practice it one time?
Yeah.
Wait. Bayarin Mend Hurge. Way cool. Okay, on the count of 3. You guys ready? 1, 2, 3. Oin Bayarin Mend Hurge. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
We need more learning moments like that. Expand our minds. Is there a Ryan Miller here? Hi, I thought so. Come on up. Brian is the winner of our 5th place prize for our burner raffle. The LRP bottle. Please come today. Teresa, would you mind taking a picture of us? Here you go, sir. Congratulations.
There we go. Congratulations.
Fantastic. Thanks for so much.
Thank you.
That's a good way to come up here and make some announcements. While he's coming up, I want to remind you guys that we have a buddy box packing event next, or not, what day is today? It's a Thursday, May 4th. Thursday, May 4th, from 6 to 7 at the Family Mentor Foundation. Last I heard, there was 11 volunteers, but I imagine there might be some more. Yeah. If you're still interested, please reach out to Christy Brothy and sign up. It's a quick in and out, and it's a lot of fun. All right, Dave.
Hey, Steve. Greetings from the district. This is normally the fourth quarter of the Rotary year, but for you, it's like the eighth quarter.
Eighth quarter, yeah.
Great job. Appreciate all you're doing with Rotary. It's been a challenging few years. Hey, just a couple things. We have the district conference next week, 28th, 29th. I know Teresa and Steve are going. Love to have more go. I know we're going to have one of our international project people, Aaron Mooney is coming from Guatemala. We've got Ed Zirkle talking about the Ukraine project, and it should be really powerful at the Veterans Memorial Museum. So
Serbian Peace Fellow.
yeah,
Yes.
it'll be peaceful. Yeah, absolutely. So it's gonna be pretty cool. This is the last quarter for the push for a 125 club. It's what we really are all about. $100 foundation, 25 to Polio Plus. So please, dig into your pockets and give. It's really important. It's a foundation of what we build all the stuff on for Mongolia and all the places that we go. So thank you for that. Denny Stutz had a really nice membership meeting last weekend, but she will also be at the district conference. And I think when you look at Rotary overall, through the COVID, we've all lost some members and some people sort of getting re-engaged, and it's starting to really pick up. So new tools and membership are important as we grow. People want to get back out and be engaged. So please be involved in that. And just want to say thanks for all you're doing for the project, and see you soon. Yeah.
Thank you, Dave. Covered everything else on my list. Okay, so now we're going to reverse today. Sergeant, come on. Oh, raise some money.
Here we go. You all know how I go. We're gonna get to know one of our members. I don't see him. Where did he go? Harry Coupe. Oh, there you are, Harry. Harry has been gracious enough to let us drill him a little bit on some facts and figures. So we are gonna start right here at my table. Does anybody know Harry's wife's name or how long they've been married? No idea. Okay, that's $1. Next table back, Harry, you're not allowed to answer this one. 49 years and it's Susanna. Harry is, he likes to do some fun things for entertainment. What is his favorite thing to do for entertainment?
Go to Rotary meetings.
Taxes, no. Golf is no. Okay, you guys throw in $1. You guys don't know Harry, you wouldn't get this, so we'll skip this table. All right, Alan, your table. What is Harry's favorite color?
I would say pink.
Oh, it is not, it's green. Put in $1. How about you, Tim? What's his favorite sport to watch? That's close, so it's your football. And you guys, what is his favorite professional sports team?
Guardian,
Nope,
a guardian.
Boston Red Sox.
Oh.
We'll combine you guys in this table. Tell me where Harry lived before moving to Ohio. Somewhere else is correct. You gotta be a little more precise. Nope, Iowa. All right, I got no more time. We'll do one more for the club. If you guys get this right, you don't have to pay an extra $1, but if you get it wrong, $1 goes in. What is the favorite trip that Harry has been on His favorite trip?
Bucharest. The river cruise.
No, it was Florence, Italy. Throw in a dollar, everybody. Thank you. We need to do happy dollars. Who's got happy dollars? Ken?
I'm happy that the Mario movie is about to be the largest grossing animated movie ever. It's over $700 million worldwide. It had $100 million production budget. And as I mentioned a few weeks ago, our son wrote much of the music for it.
Charlie's got happy dollars.
50 years ago today, my 16-year-old self met a high school senior who I 5 years later would marry. In September, will be 45 years. So here's a $50 check because we met 50 years ago today.
Thank you. Okay, anybody on, oh, Gary's got some.
Well, I'm putting in a happy dollar for Tim Moats. Because I found out that, he gets more culture than just cottage cheese. As I ran into him at Pro Musica last week.
Anybody visiting on Zoom, right?
On Zoom.
Okay, thank you all.
So I think we're ready for the raffle. Yeah, let's do the kids first. We're ready for the students. Is that okay, Tom? Yeah. All right. Mom?
Thank you, ladies, all once again. Your speeches were all great, and we enjoy the participation from Dublin Scioto High School and everyone every year. So a lot of debate back there, but in third place, I'd like for each of you to come up when your name's called. We have float. Second place, we have. Yeah, Stan, they'll probably get a picture of you.
Yeah.
Kira. And first place, Yana. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, 2 weeks from now, if Yana would like to participate in the district competition. Friday the 28th, thank you, Ro. Good luck.
You want to get in with them? Okay. Right here. 3, 2, 1, cheers. Thank you.
Great job today. All right, Tom, we're ready for the raffle. Some big money in there.
Well.
$50 check.
Yeah.
He did.
He did.
Jerry, that'd be a shame. Well, what's the Jerry, tell us how much you want? 500?
How much was it? Is that what you want to know?
Yeah.
$1.67.
What we have is we put a quarter each week, $30 for today's draft. And then another 30 goes into for all the ace space. Well, last week Jerry pulled the ace of spades. He won't tell you, but he won $1 gazillion.
Just a little more than that.
Now we're back to $30.
Yeah.
This is for the $30.
30 bucks.
And the last 4 digits are 9326.
Wow.
Jerry, 386. Mr. Shearer.
I would go for that kind of money.
Don't spend this on any place. Okay? Here's your 30.
Okay.
And for the ace of spades.
Thanks.
Brand new deck.
We gotta bring it.
Last four are 9, 2, 9, 8.
9, 2, 9, 8.
That's me.
Oh,
Are you
geez.
kidding me?
Good luck, Jerry.
This time, a new death.
This time I won't look. 8 of spades.
Yay.
That almost rhymes with ace of spades.
I'm sorry, I didn't properly introduce these two guests. I said Sam, but I didn't.
My name is Tong Su, is one of the Yanas. So,
Yeah.
And a great parent, evidently.
And we have time if you all want to say who you are. And why you're here.
They all did speeches as well, so I'm not asking to mention what they're.
Okay.
My name is Kyrie Pice, and I gave my speech on the sexualization of minors in media.
Yeah.
My name is Holly Miller, and I gave my speech on the pressure in the school system.
My name is Mr. Gomez, and I gave my speech on sleep deprivation.
One more over here.
My name is Kunal, and I gave my speech about the impact of global warming.
Thank you. But a special thanks, Dave, for being here today.
Hey, Steve,
Yes, Ken?
can I ask you a question, please, of the teacher educator in the group?
Yes.
I was fortunate to be out of town last week with 7 high school buddies playing golf. And one night the discussion came up, what classes we took in high school from which we got information that we use every day in our careers. And these 8 guys are totally different career guys. Everybody agreed, typing, which I think is now known as keyboarding, and speech are things we use every day in our careers. My question is either one now mandatory in our high school?
Well, public speaking and those kinds of things, including presentations and using media to do that, is in the English standards. So it's kind of incorporated into that as an actual speech course, which we do offer, that's an elective. And keyboarding is, I believe, I'm actually not sure if it's still offered. When I first started using it was, I think it's been somewhat. You guys know, is that offered in the business courses?
We do, we offer computer science, and that teaches the basics of keyboard, like computers fundamentals. And
I better make something clear. Keyboarding is typing.
To no one's surprise, not a single guy mentioned algebra or calculus. Yeah, but you use calculus to compare rates, don't you know? I don't. So calculus in that effort.
Yes, sir.
In regards to public speaking, which I do a very poor job, I just wanted to mention with my announcement that you can score at home, because I'll send you the information electronically. You can read through and actually score. So all you want to do is score. All right.
Fantastic.
So please volunteer.
Excellent. Any other last minute announcements? We've gone totally in reverse today, so I feel like I should like say in reverse for guessing this. All right, let's wrap this thing up. If you would join me in the recitation of the 4-way test.
Do it backwards.
Okay. Of the things we think, say, and do. 4th. Third. Second. And first. Fantastic. Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of the day. We are. I'll just take it off.
Well, I already talked to Harry about him taking the raffle stuff with the cashier.
Okay, that helps.
It's so nice to meet you. Congratulations.
All right, have fun.
Yeah. 9-1.